As a newer entrepreneur, you're tired of feeling like you have to do everything yourself. You are hearing conflicting things about what you should be working on, what's working for other people, and you're probably not even looking at what's working for yourself in the midst of all this. Because when you do look at what's working for you, you get overwhelmed again. You feel like you need to do everything. Help doesn't feel like it's something that's possible for you to have at this point in your business. I remember working 40 hours a week just on my graphics for my blog and Instagram back in 2016. That was a lot of time spent doing something that I wasn't really good at that I could have spent doing other things that would actually build my business. On top of that, I was trying to be on Instagram every day, multiple times a day. I was trying to blog at least twice a week, get a newsletter out to remind everybody that I had a blog, and so much more. Finally, one week I missed a newsletter and it wasn't the end of the world, and I slowed down my blog posting and nothing bad happened to my business. Over time, I came to realize that doing less is actually more, because while I was doing a lot, I wasn't doing any of it well. Ironically, when I started to do less in a very focused, intentional way, that was when everything started to change for me, and I started to see six-figure years, six-figure months. Those were pretty fun. So if you want to have that kind of dedicated focus where you know exactly what to work on and you're not burning out, you're actually getting ahead in business, then you'll want to stay tuned, because in this video, I show you exactly how to have that kind of focus that overcomes burnout and helps you have the business of your dreams. So much so that you're not even paying attention to your competition anymore. Like, goodbye, no more comparison. My name's Christina Scalera, and I help you work smarter, not harder, with passive income. And yeah, I actually still do this myself. I'm not just teaching you guys. All right, so some radical focus here. Let's get into it, because the first tip I have for you is to define exactly why you are in business for yourself. Maybe you've heard that you need to have a why, or have a why that makes you cry. I don't focus on that so much, as I just try to be grateful for the things around me and remember how far I've come. This was a big game changer in my business, because for a long time, I just kind of went and did my daily activities, and yay, like for a good sales day, boo for a bad sales day, and didn't really understand why I was doing what I was doing. And it wasn't until I started to take a look and say, oh wow, like a year ago I was doing this. Oh, wow, like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, this is where I was. And now I'm, instead of being in the audience of that place, I'm speaking on the stage of that place. I remember distinctly one exact occasion. There was a conference that I could not afford to go to. So if you know my story, you know that I had $73,000. Actually, at this point, I had $70,000 of consumer credit card debt, and I had $3,000 left. If I paid off some things and whatever, I opened up about $3,000 of credit card spending on my cards. And I budgeted towards all the conferences that I could possibly go to in that last $3,000 that I put on the cards. Well, there was one conference that I really wanted to go to, but it was like another 3 or 4 grand in and of itself. And I was really sad because I couldn't go. I knew it would be a big opportunity. I probably did miss a lot of connections and things there, but I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't make it happen no matter how creative I got with my finances. And I remember being so devastated. I'd gone to family members, I'd gone to anybody that would possibly entertain this idea to pitch, this is what's gonna happen here. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna meet these people, and then I'm gonna finally be able to do this. And then you're investing in my business and blah, 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 blah. And they didn't care. No one cared. Everyone was just like, can you get a job already? And I just, I was so sad. But I went about my life. I started my business. I used what I did learn from the 3 conferences I ended up going to, and that exploded everything. I've covered that in other videos. And then the coolest part is a year and a half later, that conference that I could not afford to go to put me up in is there such thing as a 6-star hotel? Because this was the nicest hotel ever. They put me up in this beautiful lakefront suite. It was unreal. And I was a speaker there, and all of my meals, everything for that whole conference that I was going to attend just a year and a half prior, but I couldn't afford, that was all provided for me totally for free. And even my flight was comped to get there. So I basically got paid to go to the conference that I could not even pay for a year and a half before. And that's the power of gratitude, is that you will continue to see opportunities like that enter your life if you can continuously look back and see where you were and how far you've come. In the beginning, you're probably not gonna have like a giant win like that where you're on Oprah's favorite things or like whatever your equivalent of it is. And that's why it's even more important to focus on the tiny things that are going well for you. Did you cross everything off your to-do list? Did you clear out your inbox? Were you able to make a payment on something that you didn't think you were going to be able to? Those are all reasons to celebrate and all cause for you to be grateful for what this business is building towards, even if it isn't exactly the lifestyle that you want forever and ever that you're living in today. My second tip to help you find focus is to find inspiration in your business, and namely where you're getting that inspiration to start your business, or if you've already started, where did that inspiration come from? The biggest inspiration for me to start my entrepreneurial journey was to have complete location independence. So I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. The only requirement was that it had to have a Wi-Fi connection. And so that, combined with, probably a little chip on my shoulder from my family telling me I needed to get a real job and that I needed to use my degrees, blah, 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 I'm wasting my time, my money, all those things. That was what inspired me to have that location independent business. And this is super ironic that this is where I ended up, because I ended up married to a guy in the Navy. So if you know anything about the US military, they're infamous for moving you around a lot. It's kind of a funny story because when my husband and I had our first date, he looked up at me with these like big, sad puppy dog eyes, and he was like fully expecting me to run away. And he said, "I move a lot because of my career. Is that okay?" I just like looked at him and I was like, I've moved 32 times in my 32 years on Earth. We're good. Because by then I had been completely location independent for many, many years of my entrepreneurial career. And it felt really good to have those dating options because not only was I not financially dependent on finding a rich guy to date, I also was location independent, so I could literally date anyone from anywhere in the world. Obviously, that had a huge personal benefit to me because here we are very happily married a couple years later. If I had kept my job in corporate all those years ago, this definitely would not be my life. I wouldn't be living on an island in Washington State and going to the beach every day and just like basically living every day like a fall fantasy because it's really cold here. So tip number 3 is figure out why you are actually doing this for the people that you're serving. And before you roll your eyes and you're like, oh, I already know this stuff. Just this morning, I was on a call with my coach and she asked me, who are the people that are buying your program, Launch Your Shop Academy? And I said, well, I think, and it just hit me, I don't know who these people are at all. I have a vague idea of who they are. I've followed them on Instagram. I try to follow all my clients. I've looked through their products before. I've done that kind of thing. But it hit me that I don't actually know, like, what do they do in the morning when they wake up? What do they look forward to all day? What scares them? Where do they shop? Like all these basic questions that you normally ask about your audience, I've just kind of gotten to the point where I took it for granted, like, oh yeah, I know who they are, like we're good. So it is never too early or too late to revisit this and take a deeper look at who these people are that are purchasing from you. How far along in their journey are they on whatever you're helping them to resolve? For example, are they, if you're a weight loss coach, are they at the beginning of that and they don't even know how to lose weight? Or are they further along and they've plateaued? This is so critical for you to know because if you are not focusing on who you're serving, then you're going to be talking to everybody. And of course, that's why you're feeling overwhelmed. Of course, that's why it feels like you have too much going on, because you do. You can't spray someone in the face with a hose and tell them it's just a light sprinkle outside of rain. That's a lie. So why are you lying to yourself and manipulating the circumstances that should be a good fit for you when they are clearly not? You need to be serving a little bit of a smaller audience in order to have that focus and dedication that they require of you so that you can continue to scale and grow with them. This doesn't mean that you're pigeonholed to that audience or that niche or whatever it is forever. It just means that for now, while you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you want to cut down, but in a significant, smart way, not a hard way. And this is the best way to do it, is just by taking a deeper look at who you actually are talking to, why you are doing that, and figuring out how to focus on that group better than ever. Now, I already hear you guys in the comment section saying, I don't have a following. Who is this girl talking to? If you do not have a following, then it is even more critical for you to take aim at a particular audience and try to capture their attention. So that doesn't mean that you're posting all different kinds of content, which I would love to cover here on this channel. If you want me to dive deeper into the different types of content that I use in my business, let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there in the comments, give this video a good thumbs up and subscribe. Every time you subscribe, an entrepreneur gets a coffee. That entrepreneur is me, and I get myself coffee. So thank you. Basically, if you don't have an audience yet, but you know exactly who you're going to serve, then you can talk to them in the way that they would like to communicate. For example, if you know your audience are boutique owners, then you're not going to be creating content about graphic design. You're going to be creating content about store displays and how to talk to their customers after they walk out of the front of the store. Those are the types of things that you're going to be communicating with that audience about. You can add in the fun personal stuff later, but I think it's a good idea to create something that has a lot of value for them first, and then they're going to be intrigued and want to know who you are, which is when all the fun personal, cat photos and things like that can start to come into play. And actually, that's where tip number 4 comes in, because you are going to test a lot of different content and products in order to find the right product or content to market fit. So many people ask me every day, is this a good idea? Do you think this product will sell? Should I post this thing? And I always answer honestly, which is, I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's good. I like it. But I might not be your ideal audience, and even if I am, I'm only one person. So the best way to test anything is to get it out there in the world. The cool thing about this is it lets you practice and level up in a really nice organic way that doesn't lead you back to burnout. And here's an example of this. So on this YouTube channel, we have almost 8,000 subscribers. Maybe you can be the person who pushes us over the 8,000 mark. Try it out. The cool thing is, I didn't start with that many subscribers, and I had time to practice and build when I only had an audience of 9 when I first started, or 20, or 200, or 8,000 Instagram followers as of last year, and now we're up to 14,000. So as you practice more and more, you're attracting more and more. That way you're practicing in proportion to the amount of audience you have. A good example of this is my first digital product that finally got some traction, and it wasn't like, woo, the crowd goes wild. It wasn't crazy amounts of traffic or sales or anything like that. But just to see every day a couple sales roll in, that was so addicting. And it was just a $2 hand wash. Wash your hands in the bath. Oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Employees must wash hands in the bathroom sign. And I was selling that on Etsy for $2. It was literally really bad watercolor clip art, vector art, and then it had cursive that you couldn't even read. The script font was terrible. But I guess people liked it enough and they were buying it for $2 and printing it and putting it presumably in their employee bathrooms, saying you have to wash your hands. Would I be embarrassed to sell that product again today? I want to say yes, but I know the answer is no, I wouldn't be embarrassed because I just don't care anymore. If it were there to serve a purpose and it helped me to build my business, I would just put it out there. And if people liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, I take it down. But if you asked me that question 3 years ago, I would have been embarrassed. So your level of embarrassment or just, confidence that you're getting in your content is going to elevate as you get more practice. And the only way to get more practice is to practice. So, yeah. All right, tip number 5 is to make sure that you are actually paying attention to your time. So if you want to focus on something and make sure that you are using it efficiently, then you have to actually take stock and inventory of what's going on currently. And the way that I've always done this is through a tool called Rescue Time, and I'll link that below. It is an affiliate link, so you can help support this channel by clicking on that and checking out Rescue Time. They have a free plan, but they also have some paid plans as well. It's pretty inexpensive, I think $50 or $60 a year. And if you've ever used a time tracker before, you're like, yeah, whatever, I've already done that. No, you have not tried Rescue Time. So Rescue Time was a total game changer for me because I always thought that I was more productive in the mornings. But it turns out that with my ADHD brain, I just consistently only get to work around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. In fact, as I'm filming this, it's 1:59. So I set up for filming about an hour ago, which is right on time. So I guess I'm not a morning person. I'm an afternoon person. Never thought that would be my life, but it is, and that's what the data showed. So I leaned into it. Tip number 6, if you want to focus more, then make sure you have some kind of lead generation on autopilot. And this doesn't mean that you never touch it again. It actually means that you just don't have to deal with it every single day. So for example, in my shop, we have a content team now. And previously, the content team did all the work, but now we have like an actual content team. And what they do in my shop to make sure that we have sales coming in every single day is that we always have a blog post that's going out weekly, and we have a newsletter that accompanies it, and then we have a couple social posts that are broken off and shared to Instagram and other places. Another example of a separate, totally distinct traffic system that's generating automated leads is our affiliate program in my shop. And I've done other videos on that in the past, so I'm not gonna go too far into that. You can just check out the videos that I've linked below. And finally, I've saved the best for last, because tip number 7 is focusing on your customer feedback and testimonials. And I know that at the beginning of your journey, you're gonna be really scared to get these, but you shouldn't be, because those are the people that are gonna love you the most, and it's all downhill from there, which is good and bad, right? More sales, more money, but you get a colder audience and they don't like you as much sometimes. Please like me. On those days where it just feels really hard, I know I can always come back to my customer testimonials and use those to pick me back up and give me that renewed sense of purpose and focus in my business. I completely understand that as a newer entrepreneur, you are focused on so many things and being told to go in so many different directions. That is why I hope these 7 tips have been able to help you find some sort of focus, some purpose throughout your journey, because they're things that you can keep coming back to. So if you need to, bookmark this video for a hard day, or just those days when you find your mind starting to wander a little bit too much. And all that focus is for naught if you don't have any means to generate money yet. So make sure you watch the next video on your screen, because in that I'm gonna walk you through exactly how digital products can start to bring that income in no matter how small your audience is. I'll see everybody next week. Bye.